Vivian had 3 rules for working with Sebastian. Never take his moods personally, never let him see her sweat, and never, under any circumstances, fall in love with him. She'd broken the 3rd rule somewhere around month 6. By year 3, she'd stopped pretending otherwise. The ring, though, the ring was new. She walked into the office at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning, coffee in one hand and Sebastian's schedule in the other. The diamond on her left hand caught the early light streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows of his corner office. Sebastian was already at his desk, which meant he'd been there since 6. Or he'd never left. With him, it was hard to tell. "Morning," Vivian said, setting his coffee down exactly where he liked it. No coaster. 2 inches from the edge of the desk. Hot enough to burn, but not hot enough to ruin the taste. He grunted without looking up from his laptop. "You have a conference call with the Castellano group at 9, she continued. "Lunch with your attorney at noon. The Martinez contract needs your signature before 3, and you promised your sister you'd call her back." "I didn't promise." "You said you would. That's not a promise. It is to normal people." Sebastian finally looked up, and Vivian saw the exact moment his gaze snagged on her left hand. His expression didn't change. He was too controlled for that. But something flickered in his dark eyes. Something she couldn't quite read. "New accessory?" His voice was carefully neutral. Vivian glanced at her hand. "Oh, yeah. Congratulations." The word landed flat. Emotionless. "Thanks." Sebastian's attention returned to his screen. "Close the door on your way out." Vivian stood there for 3 seconds longer than necessary, waiting for something else. Anything else. But Sebastian had already dismissed her, his focus locked on whatever email he was reading with unusual intensity. She left, closing the door with more force than required. By 10 a.m., Sebastian had snapped at her twice, ignored 3 questions, and somehow managed to be in every room she entered without actually speaking to her. Vivian had worked for him long enough to know what his silences meant, and this one was loud. "You're staring," she said without looking up from the filing cabinet. "I'm not staring. You've been watching me for the last 5 minutes. I was thinking. About work. Liar." Vivian turned, crossing her arms. "What's your problem today?" "I don't have a problem." "You have several problems. But today you have a specific problem, and I'd like to know what it is so I can fix it and we can all move on with our lives." Sebastian leaned back in his chair. "You can't fix this one. Try me." He was quiet for a long moment, his gaze dropping again to her left hand. "How long? How long, what? How long have you been seeing him?" Vivian's stomach tightened. 3 months. 3 months. Sebastian repeated it like he was testing the weight of the words. "And you didn't mention it." "I don't report my personal life to you. You report everything else. That's different." "Is it?" Vivian felt heat creep up her neck. "Yes, it is. My relationships are none of your business." "Fine." Sebastian stood, straightening his tie. "Then I have nothing else to say about it." But he did. Vivian could see it in the rigid set of his shoulders, the way his jaw tightened when he thought she wasn't looking. She'd spent 3 years learning to read him, and right now, he was screaming. The rest of the day passed in uncomfortable silence. Sebastian took his calls with the door closed. He ate lunch at his desk instead of going out. He signed the Martinez contract without reading it, which meant Vivian had to read it twice to make sure he wasn't agreeing to something idiotic. By 5 o'clock, she'd had enough. "We need to talk," she said, standing in his doorway. "About?" "About whatever's going on with you." "Nothing's going on with me." "Sebastian, go home, Vivian. I'm sure your fiancé is waiting." The word hit like a slap. Fiancé, not boyfriend, not partner. Fiancé, like he was testing how it sounded. Like he hated it. "He's not. We're not. Vivian stopped. We're just dating. Sebastian's eyes sharpened. Then why the ring? It's a promise ring. A promise ring. His tone was carefully blank. How charming. Don't do that. Do what? That thing where you act like you don't care when you clearly do. Sebastian crossed his arms. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. You've been impossible all day. You've barely looked at me. And now you're being condescending about my relationship like... She stopped, suddenly furious. Like you have any right to an opinion. You're right. I don't. Then why do you care? The question hung between them. Sebastian's expression shifted, something raw and unguarded crossing his face before he locked it down. I don't, he said finally. Liar. Vivian. 3 years. I've worked for you for 3 years. I know when you're lying. She stepped into the office, closing the door behind her. So tell me the truth. What's really bothering you about this? Sebastian moved to the window, his back to her. Miami's skyline stretched out beyond the glass, the sun setting over the ocean in shades of orange and gold. You deserve better than a promise ring, he said quietly. Vivian's breath caught. What? If someone's going to make promises to you, they should do it right. Not with some half-commitment that doesn't mean anything. It means something to me. Does it? Sebastian turned, and the look in his eyes made her chest tight. Or did you just accept it because you were tired of waiting for something real? The accusation hung between them. That's not fair, Vivian said, but her voice wavered. Isn't it? Sebastian took a step toward her. Tell me something. Are you in love with him? That's none of your... Are you in love with him? Sebastian repeated, his voice low and intense. Because I've seen you in love, Vivian. I know what it looks like, and this isn't it. Her heart hammered against her ribs. You don't know what you're talking about, don't I? Another step. I know you laugh differently when something's actually funny. I know you bite your thumbnail when you're nervous. I know you take your coffee black in the morning and with cream after 3 p.m. I know you stay late even when I don't ask because you can't leave something unfinished. I know you, Vivian, better than anyone. Stop. Why? Because you're my boss. Because this is inappropriate. Because you feel it too, Sebastian said quietly. And it scares you. Vivian's hands curled into fists at her sides. Feel what? This. Us. Whatever the hell this has been for the last 3 years. The words landed like a bomb. Vivian opened her mouth to deny it, to laugh it off, to do anything except stand there staring at him like her entire world had just shifted on its axis. Sebastian. Take it off. She blinked. What? The ring. Take it off. Are you insane? Probably. He closed the distance between them, and suddenly he was right there, close enough that she could see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. But I'm done pretending. Take it off, Vivian. You don't get to tell me. I'm not telling you. I'm asking. His voice dropped. Please, I can't look at it anymore. I can't watch you wear another man's promise when I've been standing here for 3 years too much of a coward to make one myself. Vivian's breath stuttered. What are you saying? I'm saying I was wrong. I thought if I kept my distance, if I stayed professional, you'd find someone better. Someone who could give you a normal life. Someone who wasn't me. Sebastian's jaw tightened. And then you walked in here this morning wearing his ring, and I realized I was an idiot. Sebastian, do you love him? The question was raw, vulnerable. Do you love him the way you... He stopped, seeming to struggle with the words. The way you look at me when you think I'm not paying attention. Vivian's throat burned. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. Sebastian's hand came up, hovering near her face but not quite touching. But I'm asking anyway. Do you love him? She should say yes, should lie, should do anything except tell him the truth. No, she whispered. Something broke in Sebastian's expression. Relief, anguish, hope. Then take it off, he said again, softer this time. Please. Vivian's hands shook as she twisted the ring off her finger. It felt both too tight and too loose. She stared at it for a moment. This small circle of silver and glass that represented 3 months of trying to move on from a man who'd never given her a reason to stay. She set it on his desk. There, it's off. Happy? Sebastian picked up the ring, turning it over in his fingers. Then he opened his desk drawer and dropped it inside. No, he said. Not until you tell me why you really took it off. Because you asked. That's not good enough. Frustration boiled over. What do you want from me? A confession? Fine. I took it off because I've been in love with you for 3 years and watching you not notice was killing me. I said yes to him because I was tired of waiting for you to feel something. Anything. Her voice cracked. And now you want me to just throw away the first relationship I've had in years because you're suddenly jealous? It's not sudden. Sebastian's voice was rough. And it's not just jealousy. Then what is it? It's 3 years of pretending I don't think about you every second. 3 years of watching other men look at you and having to act like it doesn't bother me. 3 years of knowing exactly what I want and being too much of a coward to take it. He stepped closer, and Vivian's back hit the desk. It's going to sleep every night thinking about you. Waking up thinking about you. Sitting in meetings where I should be focused on $1,000,000 deals. But instead, I'm wondering if you ate lunch, because you always forget when you're busy. Vivian's breath came faster. Sebastian. It's you, Vivian. It's always been you. And I was an idiot for thinking I could ignore it. For thinking you'd wait forever while I figured my shit out. I did wait, she said, and hated how her voice wavered. I waited 3 years. I know, and I'm sorry. His forehead almost touched hers. I'm so damn sorry. But I'm done waiting now. I'm done pretending this is just professional. I'm done watching you wear someone else's ring when I want you to wear mine. I don't have a ring anymore. Good. Sebastian's hand finally made contact, his palm cupping her jaw. Because I have plans for that finger. That's very presumptuous. I know. I could say no. You could. His thumb traced her cheekbone. But you won't. How do you know? Because you're still here. Because you took off his ring. Because you just told me you've been in love with me for 3 years. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. Because you're looking at me the same way I'm looking at you. Vivian's hands came up to his chest, and she could feel his heart hammering against her palm. This is a terrible idea. Probably the worst one I've ever had. We work together. I'll fire you. You can't fire me. You'd fall apart in a week. Then I guess we're stuck together. Sebastian. He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. Wasn't tentative. It was 3 years of unspoken want compressed into a single moment. Vivian made a sound somewhere between a gasp and a moan, her fingers curling into his shirt. Sebastian's arm banded around her waist, pulling her flush against him. His other hand tangled in her hair, angling her head for better access. Vivian kissed him back with equal desperation, years of restraint crumbling like ash. They broke apart, breathing hard. Sebastian's forehead rested against hers, his eyes closed. I've wanted to do that for so long, he said roughly. Vivian's laugh was shaky. Could have fooled me. I'm very good at hiding what I want. Not anymore. No. He opened his eyes, and the intensity there stole her breath. Not anymore. They stood there for a long moment, wrapped around each other, the Miami skyline glittering beyond the windows. I have to end it, Vivian said quietly. With Daniel. I have to do it properly. I know. Tonight. Okay. And then? She looked up at him. Then what? Sebastian's smile was slow and absolutely devastating. Then you're mine, and I'm going to spend every day making sure you never regret choosing me. That's a big promise. I'm very good at keeping my promises. He kissed her again, softer this time. Unlike promise rings. Vivian laughed against his mouth. You're never going to let that go, are you? Absolutely not. She pulled back just enough to see his face. I'm scared. Of what? That this will ruin everything. That we'll try and it won't work, and then I'll lose you completely. Sebastian's grip tightened. You're not going to lose me. I won't let that happen. You can't promise that. Watch me. He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I've spent 3 years building walls to keep you at a distance. Now I'm going to spend the rest of my life tearing them down. You're not getting rid of me, Vivian. Not now. Not ever. That's mildly threatening. I'm a mildly threatening person. I know. It's one of the things I love about you. Sebastian's smile turned wicked. Make that list. I want to know all the things. Absolutely not. Your ego is big enough. But you love me anyway. It wasn't a question, but Vivian answered it anyway. Yeah, she said softly. I do. The next morning, Vivian arrived at the office without a ring on her finger. Sebastian noticed immediately. His eyes tracked to her bare left hand, and something in his expression eased. How did it go? He asked. Vivian set his coffee down. He took it better than I expected. Did he ask if it was because of me? Yes. What did you tell him? The truth. That I'd been in love with someone else for years, and it wasn't fair to him. Sebastian was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry. I know that couldn't have been easy. It wasn't, but it was necessary. Vivian met his eyes. He deserves someone who loves him the way I love you. Come here. She rounded the desk, and Sebastian pulled her into his lap. It should have felt awkward. 3 years of professional distance didn't disappear overnight. But instead, it felt natural, like coming home. I missed you last night, he said against her hair. You saw me 12 hours ago. 12 hours too long. Vivian laughed. You're going to be unbearable now, aren't you? Completely. Great. I've created a monster. Sebastian's hand curved around her hip. You created nothing. I've been a monster for you since the day you walked into this office. You hid it well. Years of practice. He pressed a kiss to her temple. But I'm done hiding. Sebastian, we're at work. I'm aware. People will talk. Let them. Your reputation. My reputation is that I'm ruthless, calculating, and willing to do whatever it takes to get what I want. Sebastian turned her face toward his. And I want you. So let them talk. Vivian bit her lip. We should still be professional, at least in front of clients. Agreed. And no PDA in the office. Debatable. Sebastian. Fine. Minimal PDA in the office. None. You're no fun. I'm very fun. I'm just also practical. She stood, smoothing her skirt. Now let me go do my job before you distract me further. Sebastian caught her hand, pulling her back for one more kiss. Tonight. Dinner. My place. Is that a question or a command? Both. I'll think about it. Vivian. I'm kidding. Obviously I'm coming over. She smiled. But you're cooking. I've done enough emotional labor this week. Deal. She made it 3 steps toward the door before his voice stopped her. Vivian? Yeah? Thank you. She turned back. For what? For waiting? For not giving up on me? For... He paused, something vulnerable crossing his face. For loving me even when I was too stupid to see it. Vivian's chest tightened. You're welcome. But for the record, you were very stupid. I know. Like, impressively stupid. I'm aware. I'm just saying. For a man who runs a multi-million-dollar operation, you're remarkably bad at recognizing when a woman is in love with you. Sebastian's smile was wry. Noted. I'll work on that. Please do. I'd hate to have to spell it out for you again. Trust me, I got the message loud and clear. The rest of the week passed in a blur. Vivian and Sebastian maintained professional boundaries at the office, mostly. But the tension between them was palpable. Stolen glances across conference tables. Hands brushing when passing documents. Small smiles that held entire conversations. The staff noticed but said nothing. Sebastian's reputation was intimidating enough that no one dared comment on his personal life. And Vivian had earned enough respect in 3 years that people knew better than to gossip to her face. But on Friday afternoon, everything shifted. Vivian was reviewing contracts in the conference room when Sebastian's office door slammed open. She looked up to see him standing in the doorway, phone pressed to his ear, his expression darker than she'd ever seen it. I don't care what he wants. Tell Moreno the deal is off. Sebastian's voice was ice. He had his chance to negotiate. He chose to insult me instead. Now he can deal with the consequences. He hung up without waiting for a response. Vivian stood. What happened? Moreno's trying to back out of the port expansion. Says he's got a better offer from the Castillos. Can he do that? Legally? No. The contract's binding. But he's trying anyway. Sebastian's jaw tightened. Which means someone convinced him it's worth the risk of pissing me off. Vivian knew that tone. It meant someone was about to have a very bad day. What do you need me to do? Call our attorney. I want every option for legal recourse. Then get me a meeting with Moreno. Today. He's not going to want to meet. I don't care what he wants. Make it happen. Sebastian. His eyes cut to her. And for a moment she saw the man the rest of the world saw. Cold. Ruthless. Dangerous. Then his expression softened slightly. Please. The word gentled something in her chest. She nodded. I'll handle it. By 6 p.m., she'd gotten Moreno to agree to a meeting. By 7, Sebastian was on his way to a restaurant in Coral Gables where Moreno was having dinner with his wife. You're not going alone, Vivian said, grabbing her jacket. Vivian, don't argue with me. You're angry, and angry you makes bad decisions. I make excellent decisions when I'm angry. You make dramatic decisions when you're angry. There's a difference. She crossed her arms. I'm coming with you. Someone needs to make sure you don't commit a felony. Sebastian's mouth twitched. Fine, but stay in the car. Absolutely not. Vivian, I've been handling your business for 3 years. I know how to manage difficult conversations, and I'm much better at not threatening people than you are. I don't threaten people. You threatened your dry cleaner last week because they didn't have your suits ready. They were supposed to be ready Tuesday. It was Monday. Exactly. They were late. Vivian sighed. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're coming with me, and I'm going to make sure this conversation doesn't end with someone calling the police. To her surprise, Sebastian didn't argue. He just studied her for a long moment. Something unreadable in his eyes. What? She asked. Nothing. Just remembering why I fell in love with you. Vivian's breath caught. It was the first time he'd said it outright. Not implied. Not suggested. Said. You can't just drop that on me and then expect me to have a normal conversation with Moreno. Sebastian's smile was slow and dangerous. Then I guess you'll have to focus. I hate you. No, you don't. I really, really do. Liar. He grabbed his keys. Come on, let's go ruin Moreno's dinner. The meeting with Moreno went better than expected. Vivian played mediator while Sebastian played enforcer, and between them they managed to convince Moreno that backing out of the contract would be far more expensive than honoring it. By the time they left the restaurant, Moreno had agreed to proceed with the original terms. "See?" Vivian said as they walked to the car. "We're a good team. We're an excellent team. I kept you from threatening him. You kept me from threatening him more than 3 times. There's a difference." Vivian laughed. The sound felt good after the tension of the meeting. Sebastian opened her car door but didn't step back. Instead, he caged her in against the car, his hands braced on the roof on either side of her. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" "For being exactly who you are. For not letting me make an ass of myself. For—" He paused. "For being my partner." Vivian's heart did something complicated in her chest. "Is that what I am now? Your partner?" "Yes." "Not your secretary?" "You haven't been just my secretary in a long time, Vivian. We both know that." She did know that, but hearing him say it made it real in a way it hadn't been before. "So what does that mean?" she asked softly. "It means I want you by my side, not behind me, not working for me. With me." Sebastian's voice was steady, certain. "In everything." "That's a big change." "It's the right change." "You're sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." He leaned in, his breath warm against her ear. "Say yes, Vivian. Say you'll be my partner. In business, in life, in everything." She should think about it, should consider the implications, should be rational. Instead, she said, "Yes." Sebastian's kiss was consuming, possessive, a claim and a promise all at once. When they broke apart, Vivian was breathing hard. "We should go home," she managed. Sebastian's smile was wicked. "Yes, we should." The drive back to his penthouse was torture. Vivian was hyper-aware of every movement, Sebastian's hand on the gear shift, the flex of his shoulders when he turned the wheel, the way his jaw tightened when she laughed at something he said. By the time they made it through his front door, the tension was unbearable. Sebastian backed her against the wall, his mouth finding hers with bruising intensity. Vivian's hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. "Bedroom," she gasped between kisses. "Too far." "Sebastian?" He kissed her again, swallowing whatever protest she'd been about to make. His hands were everywhere, her hair, her waist, her thighs, mapping her like he'd been thinking about this for years. He had been, Vivian realized. They both had. Somehow they made it to the couch. Sebastian pulled her into his lap, and Vivian straddled him, her hands framing his face. "I love you," she said, because she needed him to hear it. Needed him to know. Sebastian's expression cracked open. "Say it again." "I love you." Again. "I love you, Sebastian. I love you. I love you. I love you." He kissed her between each repetition, his hands trembling slightly where they gripped her hips. "I love you too," he said roughly. "God, Vivian, I love you so much." They stayed like that for a long time, wrapped around each other, the Miami city lights twinkling beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. Later, much later, they lay tangled together on Sebastian's bed, the sheets twisted around their legs. "So," Vivian said, trailing her fingers across his chest. "What happens now?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, what's the plan? Do we tell people? Keep it quiet? Figure it out as we go?" Sebastian caught her hand, pressing a kiss to her palm. "We tell people. I'm not hiding you. Your business associates might not approve of you dating your secretary. Then they can disapprove. I don't care." He rolled to face her fully. "And you're not my secretary anymore. Starting Monday, you're my business partner, equal stake in everything." Vivian's eyes widened. "Sebastian, that's non-negotiable. You've earned it 100 times over. The only reason I didn't offer it sooner was because I was too busy being an idiot about my feelings. You can't just give me half your company. Watch me. I'm serious. So am I. You've been running half of it already. Now it'll just be official. His thumb traced circles on her wrist. I want you with me, Vivian. As my partner. As my... He paused, seeming to weigh his next words carefully. As whatever you want to be to me. But I need you to know I'm serious. About this. About us. I know you are. Good. He kissed her softly. Because I'm not letting you go. Not now. Not ever. That's very possessive. I'm a possessive man. I've noticed. Sebastian's smile was lazy. Good. Then we understand each other. Monday morning arrived with the inevitability of a hurricane. Vivian walked into the office at 7:30, old habits died hard, to find Sebastian already at his desk. Morning, she said, setting down his coffee. He looked up, and the smile that crossed his face was so warm it made her chest ache. Morning. Did you sleep well? Not really. Someone kept me up late. Can't imagine who. A very demanding man with questionable priorities. Sounds awful. He has his moments. Vivian perched on the edge of his desk. So, today's the day we tell people? Today's the day. Sebastian stood, moving to stand in front of her. Unless you've changed your mind. Have you? Not even slightly. Then neither have I. His hand came up to cup her jaw. You're sure? Once we do this, there's no taking it back. Everyone will know. Good. Let them know. Vivian smiled. I'm tired of pretending I don't love you. Sebastian kissed her, soft and sweet and perfect. The door to his office opened. Sebastian, I need you to... Oh. They broke apart to find Monica, Sebastian's attorney, standing in the doorway with a file folder and an expression of pure shock. Sorry, Vivian said, not sounding sorry at all. Should we have locked the door? Monica's mouth opened, closed, opened again. I'm just going to... I'll come back. Monica, wait. Sebastian's hand found Vivian's. Since you're here, you should know. Vivian and I are together, and effective today, she's my business partner. I need you to draw up the paperwork transferring 49% of ownership to her. Monica blinked. I'm sorry. 49%? You heard me. Sebastian, that's what she's earned, what she deserves. His grip tightened on Vivian's hand. Do you have a problem with that? No, of course not. Monica looked between them. How long has this been going on? About a week, Vivian said. Officially. Unofficially, about 3 years. Sebastian's smile was slight. I'm a slow learner. Monica laughed. Clearly. Okay, I'll draw up the paperwork. Anything else? Yes, I want Vivian's name on everything. Accounts, properties, contracts, all of it. Sebastian, Vivian started. All of it, he repeated, not looking away from Monica. Can you handle that? I can handle that. It'll take a few days, but I'll make it happen. Monica smiled. Congratulations, both of you. After she left, Vivian turned to Sebastian. 49%? That's almost half the company. I would have given you 50, but then we'd have deadlock issues. This way I still get the final say in major decisions. His smile was wry. Though we both know you'll talk me into whatever you want anyway. That's true. Vivian wrapped her arms around his neck. You're really sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. You belong here, Vivian, with me, as my equal. He kissed her forehead. I should have made this offer years ago. You weren't ready years ago. No, but I am now. The rest of the day passed in a whirlwind. Word spread fast. Apparently, Monica hadn't been able to resist sharing the news. By lunch, half the office knew. By 3 p.m., everyone knew. Most people were supportive. A few were skeptical. Sebastian shut down the skeptics with a single look. Anyone who has a problem with my personal or professional decisions can take it up with me directly, he said in a company-wide email. Or they can find employment elsewhere. Subtle, Vivian murmured, reading over his shoulder. I don't do subtle. I've noticed. He pulled her into his lap. Having regrets yet? None. You? Not even one. He kissed her neck. Though I'm starting to think we should have kept this quiet a little longer. Why? Because now I can't do this without everyone knowing. Do what? Sebastian's hand slid up her thigh. This. Vivian's breath hitched. Sebastian, we're at work. Your point? My point is that we have a meeting in 20 minutes. Then we have 20 minutes. That's not enough time for what you're thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking, and it's not happening in your office. Sebastian's laugh was low and dangerous. Our office, and fine. But tonight you're mine. I'm always yours. Good. He kissed her, hard and possessive. Because I'm never letting you go. 2 months later, Sebastian had a gala to attend. Black tie. Miami's wealthy elite. The kind of event where he usually showed up alone, made appearances, and left as soon as socially acceptable. You're coming with me, he told Vivian over breakfast. I assumed. I'm your business partner. I should probably network. Not as my business partner. Sebastian set down his coffee cup. As my girlfriend. Vivian looked up from her tablet. You want to introduce me as your girlfriend? Publicly? Yes. That's different from business partner. It is. People will definitely talk. Let them. Sebastian moved around the kitchen island to stand in front of her. I want everyone to know you're mine. No ambiguity, no confusion. That's very possessive. I am very possessive, especially about you. His hands settled on her hips. So, yes, I'm going to introduce you as my girlfriend, and if anyone has a problem with it, they can talk to me. Vivian smiled. You're going to be insufferable at this event, aren't you? Probably. I'm going to have to run interference all night. Probably that too. And you're still not going to let me buy my own dress. Absolutely not. I already called the designer. She's bringing options to the penthouse this afternoon. You're impossible. I'm generous. You're possessive and controlling and... Sebastian kissed her, swallowing the rest of her protest. And you love me anyway. Unfortunately. Say it. I love you anyway. Better. He kissed her again. Now go get ready. We have a gala to attend. The event was everything Vivian expected. Champagne, small talk, people in clothes that cost more than cars. Sebastian kept her at his side the entire night, his hand never leaving the small of her back. Sebastian Bellini, a man said, approaching with a glass of whiskey. Been too long. Richard. Sebastian's tone was carefully neutral. How's the real estate business? Booming, and yours? The same. Richard's eyes slid to Vivian. And who's this? Vivian, Sebastian said, pulling her closer. My girlfriend. The word hung in the air like a declaration. Vivian felt every eye in their immediate vicinity turn toward them. Richard's eyebrows rose. Girlfriend? I didn't know you did girlfriends. I didn't. Now I do. Sebastian's smile was sharp. Vivian, this is Richard Chen. He runs commercial development downtown. Nice to meet you, Vivian said, shaking his hand. The pleasure's mine. So Vivian, how did you two meet? She works with me, Sebastian said, before Vivian could answer. Business partner. Partner? Richard's expression shifted to something between surprise and respect. Impressive. Sebastian doesn't usually share power. Vivian's special, Sebastian said simply. The conversation continued, but Vivian barely heard it. She was too focused on the way Sebastian's thumb traced circles on her back, the way he kept her close, the way he looked at her when he thought no one else was watching. Later they stood on the balcony overlooking Biscayne Bay. The party continued inside, but out here it was quiet. Private. "You did well tonight," Sebastian said. "I didn't do anything. You charmed half the room. Richard wants to set up a meeting. So does Martinez. That's just business. That's you being brilliant." Sebastian turned her to face him. "I meant what I said earlier, about you being special. I know. Do you?" His hand came up to cup her face. "Because I need you to understand. You're not just my girlfriend. You're not just my business partner. You're everything, Vivian. Everything I didn't know I needed until I had it." Her throat tightened. "Sebastian, I love you. I'm in love with you. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never forget it. That's a big promise. I keep my promises." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Vivian's breath stopped. "What is that?" "What do you think it is?" "Sebastian." He opened the box. Inside was a ring, simple, elegant, and about 3 times the size of the promise ring Daniel had given her. "If you're going to wear a ring," Sebastian said quietly, "it's going to be mine, and everyone's going to know it." Vivian laughed through sudden tears. "That's very subtle." "I don't do subtle. I know. It's one of the things I love about you." Sebastian's smile was devastating. "Is that a yes?" "Yes. Obviously yes. Did you really think I'd say anything else?" "No, but I wanted to hear you say it anyway." He slid the ring onto her finger, and it fit perfectly, like it had been made for her, like it had been waiting. "I love you," Vivian said, because she needed him to hear it again. Sebastian pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. "I love you too. More than I thought I was capable of loving anything." "That's very romantic." "I'm very romantic. You're really not." "I'm trying to be romantic for you," Vivian laughed. "Then I appreciate the effort." They stood there for a long moment, wrapped around each other, Miami's skyline glittering in the background. "We should probably go back inside," Vivian said eventually. "Probably. People are going to talk. Let them." "Sebastian." He kissed her, long and slow and perfect. "I don't care who talks, Vivian. All I care about is you." And looking at him, at this man who'd spent 3 years hiding his feelings because he thought she deserved better, Vivian believed him. They went back inside together, hand in hand, and when people stared at the ring on her finger, Sebastian just smiled. "That's my girl," he said to anyone who asked. "That's my Vivian." And for the first time in 3 years, Vivian knew exactly where she belonged. If you enjoyed Vivian and Sebastian's story, subscribe to Mafia Tales for more dangerous romances where powerful men meet their match. New stories every week. Want exclusive extended epilogues and bonus scenes? Join the Mafia Tales Club. You'll get early access to new stories and behind-the-scenes content you won't find anywhere else.